Hey everybody, on this episode, I am going to be talking about the common mistakes and hurdles that hold us back from growing our business online. I ran marketing departments in corporate America for 10 years and then ran a digital agency for over another 10 years. So I know the roadmap to online success, and that formula always includes producing content to share your message, from your marketing message to sales and delivery. Hi, I'm Jennifer Neal, and you're listening to the Content Toolbox. I believe the secret to finding and creating raving fans online is through you. In building relationships through stories that share who you really are, create genuine, crazy, raving fans that keep begging you to take their money. And on this podcast, we'll be talking strategies, tactics, tips, and more with myself and other industry experts. So buckle up and start your engines, because it's go time. All right, welcome back. Okay, we are going to be talking today about that technology and the overwhelm and the frustration and the thing that most entrepreneurs do, which is throw money at it. Even if we don't have it, we just throw money at it, right? Here's the thing. Having the things that you can buy that seem like are gonna solve all the problems. So every day there's some new technology, software, tool, resource, something, course that you can buy. And just because you get those doesn't mean that it's gonna solve all the issues or problems that you have, right? So we are talking specifically about content, repurposing, and getting your messaging out. But this applies to anything in your business, okay? So let's talk about content repurposing, right? Anything around social posting, social anything. We have got, let's see, from the social posting, there's posting tools. So personally, we use Tailwind app, but I'm gonna tell you guys the story here in just a sec, but there are a whole bunch. I could probably list just off the top of my head like 5 different software tools that you can go out and buy that will post things for you automatically, which sounds amazing, right? Just because they can post things for you automatically doesn't mean that it's going to create all the content for you and have everything ready to go. You still have to have those pieces done, right? So then if you reverse that, there are plenty of design tools, or we're gonna repurpose this thing for you and give you these different designs. Just because it's solving for one piece of the puzzle doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're gonna have this amazing content cash machine that is out there making you money without having all of the pieces in place. So I'm gonna reference again here my friend James P. Friel, as well as I've heard this from many other people. Top of head, I can at least think of Alex Sharfin as well. I don't want to take credit for this, but really the things that make a business run, in order to have an efficient actual system, it takes both people and tools and a plan, or like an actual process, right? So that process has to be repeatable. If you have just a process and you don't have the people or the tools to run it, you're not gonna get your end result. If all you have are software and tools and things that you have purchased and thrown money at, and you don't have the people and the system in place, you're not gonna get the end result that you're after. It takes having all 3 of those things and having them kind of coordinate and balance together in order to get you the end result and have a content cash machine that's actually working. But like I said, it isn't just even the content cash machine. This applies to everything in your business.
Story.
So I promised that I was going to tell you a story, and this is something I have literally seen this same process over and over and over, but I'm going to call out one particular person as an example. So I have a very good friend who, her husband is an entrepreneur, and he is in all of these, like he does very well, and he's in like this elite mastermind group, and pays for this elite group and has all of the, oh yeah, I have that software and that software. And he's like, okay, I want a better online presence. I actually want to take my brick and mortar service-based business and put it more online so I'm able to get more leads and get my message out, right? So we talked about content repurposing. So I was giving him some strategies on how he could go about making this whole system work. So what he has done, this is so typical, you guys. He went out and he said, all right.
What is the best camera? What's the best microphone? What's the best tripod?
So he went out and bought all this equipment, lighting, and all this stuff, spent thousands of dollars just on equipment that was literally sitting in the boxes in his office because he had no idea how to use it. Full podcast mic, full lighting, multiple different cameras, remote controls, all this stuff that wasn't being used because he didn't know how to use it. And because he didn't have a consistent schedule or plan for himself of even what he was going to talk about, how he was going to talk about it, and then what was going to happen with that content from there out, right? So all of this amazing equipment, but then it didn't stop there. Then he was like, all right.
What are some of the best courses out there?
So he went out and he bought my course, and he bought John Lee Dumas on launching a podcast, and he bought, I think, 2 other online courses on how to launch a podcast. Great, went through all the courses. Oh, I gotta do this and this and this. And in the course, every single software that they recommended. So he went and got a Libsyn account. He went and signed up for WordPress. He went and set up his YouTube account. All he did was just set up the channel, that's fine. Then he went out and bought Hootsuite and Agora Pulse and let's see, what else did he do? He got a Canva account and Adobe, and like he bought all the design software stuff, right? And said, okay, now I have to have all this video editing. So he bought a video editor for his phone. Besides the Adobe Suite stuff, he bought some other video editing tools to use on his computer. And he's like, I have all these things. I just need somebody to put it together. And I'm like, yeah, you do, but you also need a plan. You also have to have that process that says, okay, once I record something, here is who's going to take this over and exactly what's going to happen with that content. And then here's what's going to happen to distribute that content. And here's when and how we're going to do it and all of those things, right? So he didn't have the people and the plan in place. So then he went out and said,
okay, well, I already have this staff that's working for me. So I'm just going to give it to them and say, here's what I want you to do. Go do it.
The problem with that is now you have 2 of the 3 things, right? But we have the people and we have the resources, we have the tools, but we didn't have the system. And so he was literally stuck right in the middle of this technology hurdle and stumble. For him, he was like, well, I'll just solve that. I'll just buy it, right? It solved it in his head, but it didn't actually do anything for his business. So he spent literally a year and a half not even getting any content out. All he just kept doing was buying things and then telling people on his team, well, I want you to go do this. Well, they didn't know what to do, so they weren't doing it. So then he's getting frustrated. He just wants to fire them, even though they don't know what to do. So when I finally met with him and said, all right, here's the deal. We got to have a plan, and at least just kind of outlined a simple plan for him and said, here's what you need to have your team do. And then you need to make sure that you've got people in place for this, this, and this. If you want to see all of that, I'm actually talking about that in the next episode, but I won't get into it here other than to say that is one way of getting stuck in this technology hurdle. Even if you're buying all of the tools and the resources, don't buy everything. It's not gonna fix it. Okay, total side note. Even if your problem is, you're like, oh, there's all these tools out here, which one do I buy? And you get stuck in that analysis paralysis. And so instead of actually producing the content and at least starting something, you're still stuck in like, well, what microphone do I need? Well, what software tool do I need to make this happen? So you're getting stuck. So many people get stuck on the how this is going to happen and not starting with imperfect action of just getting in front of a camera or sitting down to write a blog or getting in front of a microphone to start recording episodes.
What are you waiting for? Do it!
You can literally have a backlog of episodes Just because you don't have the other pieces solved yet, you don't know what software pieces you're gonna use or who's gonna do the stuff, you can still start getting your message out, and it's still further than you're gonna be than sitting there being stuck like, what microphone am I gonna use? What design software do I use? And then you can also get stuck. This is the other place I see, is people are like, well, I don't know who to hire or where to hire them. There are so many resources, you guys, and go check out the content toolbox. We have resources in there, recommendations of places to find and use designers and video editors and copywriting and all of these awesome things so that you can help get past that hurdle. Don't let these small decisions, because the thing is, your process is going to change as you grow, but you're not going to grow unless you just get unstuck right now and start that movement because it's never going to change. You're going to sit there for a year and a half or longer or whatever and never actually have any momentum. All you're going to do is just have a collection of online courses and stuff that isn't doing anything for you. Or you're gonna have, I just met with somebody last week who was like, yeah, I have this awesome team, but right now they just really don't have enough to do. Meanwhile, I'm producing, a podcast every single week. How do I get them to do something with it? So then we're back at having to get that actual system, the process that they're gonna follow, right? It doesn't have to be something that is somebody else's idea, anything like that. Just look at what is it, take one baby step. If you're doing a podcast already, how can you then have one person help you take that one podcast and turn it into a blog and put it on a website? So there is that's 2xing your reach already from one simple repurposing. Just because you see the successful online influencers out there that have the gigantic content machines and they're out on every single channel, doesn't mean that you have to jump in and immediately go from nothing to Formula One driving 200 miles an hour. No, you're gonna start off in like a little go-kart, like a kid go-kart. You're gonna do one little step and then you're gonna graduate into a bicycle and into the next thing. And maybe we'll skip NASCAR because that just sucks altogether. But you're eventually gonna get to the place where you are driving that super sports car and your business, like your message is purposed out on all of those channels, but don't expect it to happen overnight. It's going to be a process, and you have to have all of those things, those trained people with a process and the right tools in place in order for that to happen. And that is going to change as you grow. So don't get frustrated and hung up on what tools do I have to use right now, because mostly it doesn't matter. You just have to pick something and move on, because what you choose now will probably, A, the technology is gonna change, and B, your system and your business is gonna change. And so that's okay. The tools that get you from A to B may not be the same tools and people that are gonna get you from D to E. Is that next? Ugh. Yes. Don't know my alphabet. Okay, so, but those are the things. Know that your process and your tools and even your people are going to change and shift as your business grows, but it's never going to start unless you start. So just get over the decisions, find some people to start taking imperfect action, start with free tools. So there's no investment. I mean, literally you can pick up a Canva account and a Google account and boom, you're in, baby, right? Super easy, okay? Doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Doesn't have to take a lot of time, but you have to make sure that you have a consistent people, tools, and a process. And if you don't have all three of those things, it's not gonna work. And the process literally can just be a checklist that you're like, I want this to happen and this to happen. And you put the right people in place, they will expand on that, and the whole thing will start moving, right? Okay, I feel like I'm hitting the same thing over and over, but it really is important. Just don't get hung up on that. The decision of the tools, the resources, the software, the courses, all that stuff, they're all great. But if you're constantly stuck in buying and learning mode, you're never gonna be in growing mode. All right, that's the last time I'll say it, I promise. Okay, so go check out the content toolbox and get into the resource area in the actual toolbox and check out some of these recommendations if you want. We even have guests that are coming in speaking from some of these recommended tools, but literally just pick one thing. I don't care if you're just getting started or you already have a whole bunch happening. No matter where you're at in the process, just pick one thing to take it the next level and the next level, right? So that is it. I'm gonna challenge you to go now, get in the driver's seat and start, whether it's your practice lap or your hot lap. I love all the car analogies. This is so awesome. Okay, anyway, go get driving. Driving your business, revenue. Let's make it happen, right? Okay, till next time. Hold on. Oh, I hate when that happens, right in the middle. Gotta zhuzh the hair. Oh, camera turned off. Hold please. Ha. Whew, that got a little off track. Off track. Oh my gosh. I'm just full of the car analogies. I love it.